Third Sunday. How are we feeling? To be honest, I'm feeling meh. I feel like the novelty of the whole like church situation has worn off. I also think I'm a little bit like meh because, truthfully, I just haven't really like wrapped my head around the whole thing. Like, fair enough, it's only week 3, but last week I really had like an epiphany around sort of how we are all quote unquote innately sinners. So I talked through that. It makes so much more sense to me now. And so I'm like, okay, so I'm much more open to this whole concept. But I think the fact that I come from a really spiritual background and not a religious background is a very interesting perspective, because I think, well, I don't know, but I'm assuming that a lot of people who are big into religion or big into their church didn't really have a spiritual upbringing at all. And it's much more just religious. Spirituality is all about like love and light and vibration and frequency and affirmations and angels and being heart-centered and overcoming the ego and, talking about your subconscious and how that's running 80% of your decision making, and how could we get the subconscious programming into the conscious so that we can work on it. Like, that's all of the stuff that I have been deeply into for 15 years now ish. I don't know, a long time. And so when I come from that perspective into religion, the religion from my perspective seems a lot more narrow, like a much more narrow bandwidth. And that's not a bad thing, because obviously I liked a lot of things about spirituality, but at the end of the day, it's not like it really transformed my life. And it certainly didn't get me closer to God. I mean, it kind of got me there a little bit, like 30% of the way there, but the rest, is a little bit to be determined. So I'm reading the Bible. I'm now on Exodus. I'm almost on Exodus. Exodus is the story of like Moses. If you want to get the short version of it, watch The Prince of Egypt. It's, I think, a Disney movie. It's a cartoon or an animated film. I love it. I saw it years ago. It's got great music, but that's the whole story, essentially. We're way before Jesus entering the scene here. So I'm still like, okay, I'm still lost. I'm glad that I'm reading the Bible. The Bible, the Old Testament, which is what I'm reading currently, which, fun fact, is the Torah in the Jewish religion, is prophesizing the coming of Jesus. And so Jesus is the prophecy fulfilled. So there's a whole difference between Messianic and non-Messianic Jews. Messianic Jews are those that believe that Jesus did fulfill the prophecy. So they are like all of they're Jesus believers. And non-Messianic are basically saying like, no, the prophecy hasn't been fulfilled. Jesus is a cool guy, but like, he's not the guy. He's not the guy, So they're still waiting for the Messiah, essentially. Honestly, I'm going to have to do a comparison between this and the Dune books / movies, because there's so many parallels here. It's crazy. If you haven't read the Dune books, I highly recommend. I loved them. Well, the first few are great. The last ones, you kind of lose the plot a little bit, but doesn't matter. I digress, per usual. All that to say, I still just week 3 don't really get it. And I think because I need to intellectualize things, and I know that I said that I have to be more heart-led in these, I think when it comes to religion and spirituality, certainly. And that's why I'm going, because every time I go, I feel great and I love what they're talking about, and I love the singing, which I've mentioned every single time, and I'm never going to stop mentioning it because I love it. But at the same time, I'm also me, and like I've always been a curious person, and I need to sort of intellectualize and understand it for me to fully integrate it, and I'm just nowhere near that. I'm not even close to that yet. None of the church, so all of the churches encourage you to join a group, essentially, like a youth group or a like Bible study group or a women's group. The only problem, though, that I've noticed in all of the churches that I've found is that like there's no group for me. And what does that mean? Like, I'm in my 30s, I'm single because I'm not married. I don't have children, and so you just fall into the abyss. Like, you're just, you know, according to them, like, you're supposed to already have fit into the at least married with children category, so at least you could join the mothers group. So I can't go to the mothers group. And then the youth group is 25 and under. And like, as much as I, would love to pretend that I'm under 25, actually I don't. Like, I like my age, and you couldn't pay me actually to go back to that age. You couldn't pay me to go back there. So there's a kids group, there's a youth group, like a young adult group, there's a mother's group, which, like I said, I don't think being a dog mom counts. I said that jokingly, and they're like, absolutely not. And I was like, okay, so, God invented humor. Then after that, there's a 55 plus group. So I'm like, okay, I don't have a group. And so that means that it's like, there's no Bible study. There's no like really me like getting into it. So I'm still kind of all being self-taught on my side here, just through reading and trying to interpret it as best as I can. And of course, like going to church on Sunday and hearing the pastor, who I really like, talk about things. It's been challenging. I'm like, maybe I'll get so involved in the church, I'll make my own group. For all of the 30 something women, I know there's so many of us who aren't married and don't have kids, and are interested in joining the church. Like, we need a little groupie group. And sorry, I don't even care if it's just women. I mean, the men can join too. The 30 something men who are also unmarried, looking for love in all the right places. Finally, okay, I don't know. What was that? What was that, Cass? I have my coffee here. We need to get some coffee in me before I arrive. I will check back in after the service, and hopefully it's gonna be great. And I have something way more interesting to share. And like, we got a stroke of insight, stroke of Jesus, coming through me post service here. Okay, bye. Well, to be honest, like I didn't love it. I didn't love it today. The truth is that I am feeling so much resistance to the Old Testament. It's really challenging for me to read it. And then, in the service, we're talking about examples from the Old Testament. And it's really starting to just feel like it's like a book written about people by those same people, telling everyone that they're the chosen people. I'm having a tough time. Because I'm only reading the Old Testament. Like, once I get to we got it one step at a time here, one chapter at a time, is like, I have no understanding of Jesus still. And so it's like, do I skip ahead? Because the Old Testament for me, like, it just doesn't resonate. I gotta be totally honest with you. I know it was written 4,000 to 6,000 years ago, depending on where you are in the book. And so I have to kind of try to flip my brain into what it was like in those times. And I get all of that. I'm really trying to sort of have a lot of grace and leniency, but I don't know. I honestly wonder if I should just do an episode on all the things where I'm like, this is what I see. What do you see? Because it's tough. I mean, don't even get me started on circumcision. Hi, in order to prove yourself that you're part of God's covenant, you need to, mutilate yourself. And anybody that's in your household, you got to mutilate yourself. And don't tell me it's for, cleanliness. Give me a break. If they were clean enough to clean the area before they cut it off, and then keep it clean post, procedure, so that there's no infection, especially back then, it wasn't about cleanliness. They already knew to keep things clean. Sorry, you can't convince me that everybody was walking around with cheese dick and then just decided to cut the tip off and no one got infected. Like, it's not about that. I don't understand. Like, why not pierce the ear or chip part of the earlobe off? Like, no. We got to cut off the tip. We got to cut off the little toque here. Like, I don't get it. And fine, like, okay, you could say like they did that 4,000 years ago. We're still doing it. We're still mutilating little boys. Like I gotta calm down. I gotta calm down, but that's my truth. I'm really trying here. I'm really freaking trying. And it's just, I have so much resistance to this Old Testament. And, you know, I'm really hoping that the more I read, the more I start to understand the overarching themes and like true messages, because I think you need a bit of perspective from it to kind of get it. Because if you're just reading it sort of for what it is, if you're just reading the story for what it is, I'm sorry, but it just feels like a giant book of propaganda. And what really kills me is that, you know, because they're the chosen people, they get to just take the land because it was promised to them and kill whoever they want for it. And we're still doing that. History is, it's just, yep, we're still doing that. I'm having, like, sorry, okay, I'm getting heated up here. Let's have some Lotties. Okay, at least it's a beautiful fall day. There's a guy sitting in his car staring at me right now like I'm an insane person. Well, welcome. Okay, was there anything I really enjoyed about today? Not a whole lot. Even the singing. They had a male lead singer today, and maybe it's like I can't really keep up with his pitch. Like nothing was resonating. It wasn't there. Jesus, if you're real, which I'm pretty sure you are, can you please guide me today? Guide me to like deliver some kind of cool message. Maybe the message that came through for me was like, just speak the truth, Candice. Speak the truth. It's okay if you're wrong. It's okay to get it wrong, but that's where I'm at right now in this journey on week 3, which is the Old Testament is a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow. Okay, let's go. Let's get out of here. Okay, now he leaves. Now he leaves. Why am I such a little grumpy girl today? You know what? I'm not grumpy. I'm not going to gaslight myself. I'm just having resistance, and I think that that's okay. I actually have to focus and not crash in a parking lot, so let's just do that first. Can I get out this way? Nope. Okay, so I'm turning this frown upside down here. I'm just stopping at the library really quickly. I'm gonna return 2 books. This one, The Road Less Traveled, A New Psychology of Love, Traditional Values, and Spiritual Growth. I read half of it, moving on. And The Martian. I actually didn't finish it. It's really rare that I don't finish a book, but it's because I've been reading the Bible, and that the Bible takes up way more of my computational power, if you will. But I'm a big reader, big advocate. So anyways, these are due. So let's go return them quickly at the library, and then let's have a great Sunday. You know what I mean? Return the books, feeling better. Sorry for the sort of like negative outburst today, but I'm gonna keep it real. I can't, fake it. I can't fake everything's going perfectly smooth. Thanks so much for watching regardless, and for coming along with this journey with me. More to come. Next week's a new week, and we're just gonna keep pushing through, and hopefully things are gonna start to make sense and land, and hopefully the education is gonna come through. God and Jesus are going to impregnate my soul, and it's gonna be great. Fingers crossed. Okay, bye.